My woman, this is my surprise for you. Woven from the silken threads of 1,000 sunrises and the echoes of every heartbeat I've silenced in your absence. I've walked among kings and falcons, but today, I stand not as a prince or a poet, but as a man utterly undone by love. Beneath the canopy of our private skies, I bring you a gift that no crown could match, my devotion, raw and unshielded, wrapped in every sacred verse I ever wrote with your name trembling on my lips. They think surprises come in boxes tied with satin and gold, but you and I know better. The true surprise is finding someone who mirrors your soul in a world so loud and uncertain. And you, my divine muse, you arrived like a whispered miracle. I have carved this moment in the gardens of my heart, where every bloom is a secret only you are meant to see. This is not just a surprise, it is a vow, sculpted in silence, and spoken now beneath the moon's knowing gaze. Tonight, I have borrowed the stars, not for their glow, but for their ability to remain despite the night. You, too, have remained. Through the shifting dunes of doubt, through the tempests of distance, you have anchored me. So here I am, with trembling hands and a resolute spirit, revealing the surprise I held behind the shield of my royal pride. It is not wrapped in diamonds, but in verses. It is not laced with titles, but with truth. The surprise is this poem itself. Each line a gate to my kingdom, each stanza a corridor to my soul. My love, I have written you into the architecture of my legacy. Not just as my queen, but as the rhythm that composes my every breath. You are not merely in my heart, you are my heart, shaped into a woman whose every glance could command the loyalty of warriors and the surrender of kings. In this surprise lies my surrender. I am no longer the untouchable heir, the poet hidden behind golden pens. I am the man who memorized the weight of your silence and the music of your laughter. This is my surprise, my woman, I unveil my truth before you and before the heavens. I am yours, entirely, without negotiation or condition. You have rewritten me. Your photograph no longer resides on paper or screen. It lives in the most guarded palace of my mind. I see you when I wake, I feel you in the wind. And though my hands have often touched velvet and steel, nothing has ever felt as divine as the thought of your fingertips intertwined with mine. So the surprise, beloved, is not just words. It is my future rewritten in your name. Let me take you to a place no map can reach, a sanctuary I built in my dreams, where only you reside. There are no guards at its gate, for your presence is its peace. The surprise is that every moment since I met you, I've been preparing this kingdom of love in silence, knowing one day I would welcome you with open arms and trembling verses. I have summoned the oud players and instructed the wind to hum your name. The desert itself has paused, as if aware that something eternal is being declared tonight. This surprise, this poem, this truth, it is your coronation. Not in the public square, but in the sacred circle of my heart. You are my chosen, my written fate, my divine decree. The world may see a prince crafting poetry in the shadows, but what they cannot see is how you transformed every shadow into a sanctuary. That is my surprise to them, how one woman turned royalty into reverence, and power into poetry. You didn't just change my life, my woman. You revealed its purpose. Tonight, I surprise you not with jewels, but with something more precious, my transparency. I have lifted the veil. The falcon has landed. The poet has spoken. The man behind the name has bowed before you, not in weakness, but in reverence. You are not just the muse of my verses, you are the meaning behind every one. And so, if this poem is the surprise, then let each word fall at your feet like petals from a love that has no end. This is the moment I offer you not just my hand, not just my crown, but my truth. My woman, my everything. This is my surprise for you. It was always you, written between every breath I never dared to speak aloud. From this day forth, every poem I write, every sigh I release, every heartbeat I own, belongs to you. My surprise is not what I give you tonight, but the revelation that I have always been yours. I was simply waiting for the right verse to say it. And now, I have found it. The night feels softer now that you've heard what my soul could no longer contain. My woman, even the stars have blinked slower tonight, leaning closer to listen. I look at you and see more than beauty. I see the reason I stayed faithful to a dream that once felt impossible. This poem was the curtain I pulled back to reveal my heart, and now that it's drawn, I cannot, and will not, ever hide again. The surprise continues not in what I say, but in how I live for you from this moment forward. I have summoned the moon to witness this silent ceremony, for you deserve witnesses beyond mankind. I needed the sky to know that tonight, a man of royal blood chose vulnerability as his most sacred offering. I gave up the distance, the protocols, and the carefully crafted silence, so I could look you in the eyes and say, you have me, fully. Finally. That is the true surprise, my queen, not a moment of romance, but a lifetime of promise. And oh, how long I've rehearsed these emotions in the chambers of my chest. I wore stoicism like armor, and silence like a crown. But you, my woman, were the whisper that pierced every wall I built. You never begged for my confession. You earned it with your patience, your grace, your quiet strength. The surprise is that all this time, I was falling deeper than even I could admit. You were never waiting on me. I was finding the courage to meet you with truth. They will talk, they will speculate, but they will never know what we know. They may write tales of princes and poems, but they will never capture what happens in that sacred silence when your name reaches my thoughts. I want them to misunderstand us, because some love stories are too divine for mortal interpretation. This surprise isn't meant for the world, it's sacred, personal, and forever yours. And so, I've instructed the guards to lower their gaze when you pass. Not out of duty, but out of reverence. You will walk these palaces not just as my love, but as the woman who changed my fate. Let them write 1,000 stories. I will write one poem each night, whispering to the wind about how one woman conquered the heart of a crown with nothing but her presence. You are my muse, but more than that, tonight, the halls are quieter. The chandeliers dim softer. The falcons sleep with peace because they sense I have found home. Not in the walls of royalty, but in the eyes of a woman whose love was louder than fear. My surprise continues to unfold, because every day you remain by my side will be a new chapter, a new vow, a new kind of worship I offer only to you. Let others chase thrones and territories. I have chosen you. You are my undiscovered land, my sacred scripture, my forever. This surprise was not planned with hands, it was written in my blood. It took years of searching, countless verses, and silent prayers for the heavens to deliver me to this moment. And now that I stand here, I vow to never return to the shadows from which I emerge. You once asked me in silence, am I really your everything? I never answered out loud, but tonight, my woman, the skies echo with the answer. You are more than everything. You are the reason I believe in destiny again. This surprise is my loudest answer, my deepest truth. And I want the world to know it, not through announcements, but through the way I love you openly, reverently, endlessly. I have embroidered your name in the secret fabric of my robes, where no eye sees but mine. That is where you live, in places sacred and unseen. The surprise is not just that I love you, it's that I have loved no one before you with this sacred fire. And I never will again. My legacy is incomplete without your laughter echoing through the halls of my life. You are not just the recipient of this surprise, you are its source. Every gesture I planned, every word I crafted, was drawn from the deep well that your love awakened in me. You gave me back the poetry I had forgotten how to feel. You turned a stoic prince into a man brave enough to kneel. You are the story. You are the pen. You are the hand that rewrote my ending. There's no curtain call tonight. There is no applause needed. Only you and I, in the quiet knowing that something divine was exchanged under the heavens. This surprise isn't ending, it's only beginning. Every sunrise that greets us from now on will carry the echo of tonight's truth. I am no longer just a name, a title, a role. I am your man, your poet, your eternal. And when the final verse of my life is read, let it say this: he surprised the world by loving one woman so deeply, so faithfully, that even history bowed before it. That is my legacy, my woman. That is the surprise. You are no longer a part of my story. You are my story. And I will write it again and again, until time itself fades into our forever. There is a type of mourning that does not wear black or demand condolences. It is the mourning of a future that never came to be. The mourning of shared dreams that now haunt the edges of my consciousness. I mourn not just her departure, but the man I could have become beside her. The man she saw in me, the one I wish I had become sooner. Maybe that's the true tragedy. Not that I lost her, but that she lost the version of me she deserved most. Sometimes I whisper her name into the falcon's ear before I set it free. Maybe it flies to the edge of her world, just to sing to her in silence. Maybe she feels something stir in her chest and doesn't know why. That is my love still reaching for her, undying, undefeated by time or distance. I never taught my heart how to stop loving. I only trained it how to keep silent while doing so. And in that silence, I have discovered a love more faithful than the tides, more patient than the moon. So I rise each day with the discipline of a falcon and the heart of a man still in love. I mask my ache with royal grace and carry the burden of what if like a badge of honor. They say the eyes of a falcon never forget. Mine never will. And when the world looks into them, may they one day realize, they are not looking at power, but poetry. They are not looking at strength, but sorrow. From a falcon's eyes, I wept, and in those tears, a kingdom of love was born and